All right, I'm Jim. Welcome back to the Shade Tree Garage. Now, I've been started work on my driver's door on my 55 Chevrolet two-door wagon. And what I found is that the internal workings of the door, the regulator, and the tracks are substantially more rusted than I found on the passenger side. I ran into a problem. All right, there are two screws on each side of the bracket that attaches to the glass that secure it to the track that the regulator wheels roll in to push it up and pull it down. The problem I'm having is that one of those screws stripped out. The screw head, I used crow oil on it and everything, and I got all four of them were pretty stuck, and I got three of the four out. The fourth one, no go. Ended up rounding off the Phillips head as far as loosening it. So I was left with the idea, with the only way to get that out is going to be drill it out. Let me turn around and show you what I'm working with. Now you can see right here, you can see the two screws I removed on this end of the track. The other end of the track, the other end is behind this tiny little hole right there. And you can see part of the end of the track and where I've been drilling, trying to get that screw out. Well, my drill is off center, and it's not, I can't see and drill at the same time through that small access hole. So my plan is to enlarge, actually cut out a rectangular panel there so I can get a grinder in and finish removing that screw head, and then it'll come out. Of course, I'm probably ruining this track, but that's okay. I can get another one. All right, so that's what I'm working with right now, and hoping to get that done. And I've got my cutoff wheel anyway, let's get this hung back up maybe. Anyway, so I've got my Sharpie, and I'm going to draw a access panel that I hope will give me what I need. All right, I've got my trusty cutoff wheel here. All right, I see we are moving. All right, this is much faster than the battery tool, and I suspect that's a little warm yet, but looks like it might give us the clearance we need to get inside. All right, let's see. I'm a little afraid to. Oh, it's not too hot. All right. Now you can see, maybe if I lower the camera again, give you a look. Yep. All right, guys, still working on this window, but something unexpected happened after I drilled out the end of the track, and I missed drilling through the screw, by the way. I think I caught part of it, but part of it was still holding the track to the bottom mount on the window. Well, while I was trying to use shear force to separate the track, the remaining part of that screw from the track, the whole window came out of that track, or the the mount that is mounted across the bottom of the window. Well, the window glass actually came out of that while I was manipulating and beating and banging on it. So that solved the problem. I just need to get the glass out of the door. I think I'll have to get my son out here to give me a hand getting the glass out of here, but anyway, my next job is going to be to remove the regulator and all that factory gunk that's covering the screws. All right, guys, it's been a productive Sunday afternoon here in the Shade Tree Garage. Been back at work on the door, the driver's side door, trying to get all the regulators and crap out of the door. All right, the window regulator screws were very tightly rusted, and after applying some crow oil last night, and I came in and gave them a rap with a hammer a couple times, I've got 3 of the screws broken loose. One of them, I've damaged the Phillips head on that screw. And so I'm trying to get it broken loose with a impact driver. Where you put it in the engage the Phillips head, and you hit the driver with a hammer. And so I'm trying to get that last screw out, and I decided to quit. Tomorrow I'll try heat. Tomorrow or whenever I get back to it, I'm going to put heat on it, like big time, and then apply the impact driver. But I can't really complain because all 4 of those original screws were stuck, and I've got that taken care of. All right, it took a little finagling, which is Kentucky talk for frustration, cussing, and cussing, and more cussing, to get the wing vent assembly out, but it came out. The problem I had with that is that the door regulator, the window regulator, when it was cranked all the way down, interfered with the lower vertical track on that on the wing vent. With the regulator all the way down, you could not push the wing vent, the bottom of the vertical track, you couldn't push that out of the hole where that's mounted at the bottom, that standoff or whatever you want to call that nut. So I had to crank a couple of turns of the window up to allow there to be enough room to push that through, and then cock it sideways and work it on out. So that worked out well. Once that was out of the way, it was easy to get the glass out of the door. And the glass, I teased my son because he was helping. I was pushing him from underneath and he was lifting. I told him, be careful with it, we don't want to break it. Well, it's got multiple cracks in it, and it's in pretty sad shape anyway. All right, the wing vent assembly came out okay, but very, very rusted. That vertical track is in really bad shape, and I'm going to have to sand that down and give it a coat of paint because it was really, really rusty. The wing vent chrome, I think, is going to be okay. I think. Now I have to remove the wing vent from that assembly. And now in the past, I removed all of the rivets, and I removed that U-shaped channel, that the wing vent rides in. I completely removed it from the vertical channel. And I don't think I'm going to do that this time because I could not find rivets suitable that would allow me to rivet all that back together as secure as it had been. I had to use nuts and bolts. And they worked just fine, but it was just frustrating for that to happen. So I've got the rubber seal to go on the U channel on that wing vent, and that won't take long. I've got new glass for that and new glass for the window. So now, in using my impact driver, I've got one screw that's still rusty and it's stuck. And I'm trying not to strip it out. Desperately trying not to strip that out. Now I could take my grinder and I could probably grind that head off okay. I was just didn't really want to do that, and I thought I may be able to rehab this regulator. And so that would also mean that I would need to drill that hole out and get the rest of that screw out. And that's possible. I may do that. But right now my plans, I'm going to need a new window track that the window attaches to and that the regulator pushes up and down on. And so my plan is to get a new regulator, and those have jumped in price since this time last year. So I'll get a new regulator and that new track, and I think I'm going to be okay. I think the chrome frame for the vent window, I think it's going to clean up okay. Now, I think it was Mutton Hollow, Chevy, or another vendor had them priced on eBay, and you could get the passenger side for $40 and the driver's side for $60, and that's a pretty good deal. It's a pretty good deal to get a brand new chrome channel for that glass. Now I will not. Now I've already secured the bottom piece of for the window glass. I've already got that secured. I've used urethane windshield cement to glue that, and it's solid. And I'll also use urethane cement on the wing vent too. All right, I'll be back with more once I get the regulator out, and we'll start putting things back together. All right, that's it from the Shade Tree Garage. We'll see you next time. Take care.